morning and welcome. This is Whole and Beautiful, and I am Angela Oiphant, your host. And I am so glad that you all have joined me for another night of information, revelation, and change. Yes, it is another phenomenal night, another night to get some information, another night to get some revelation, and to get some change, to start a change. Um, I want you all to know that I am so glad you are here with me on tonight. I am glad that you allow me to be in your homes, in your vehicle, wherever you may be, that you're listening to this broadcast. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being my whole and beautiful nation. I am so excited. There are whole and beautiful nation people out there that don't even chime in. They don't say a word, but later on they let me know, hey, I was listening. Hey, that show helped me. Hey, what you said really ministered to me. And I am thankful for you all. For the ones that comment and for the ones that don't, I am grateful and I am thankful that you're out there and that you're hearing something that is literally changing your life and bringing you up out of some things. I had somebody tell me that just this week, and I am thankful for you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. And thank you for being a part of the whole and beautiful nation. I am so excited about what is going to happen this year, guys. It is the first Friday for me here. Friday, the first Friday of the new year that I am here with you, and I am so excited about it. Yes, I am. I had so many things going on in my mind and so many things going on in my heart that I was thinking, what do I want to share? What do I want to do? Some things that I wanted to do, and some things that I wanted to say. I was trying to see which way am I going to go on tonight, because there were so many different avenues that I could have went down, so many different streets that I could have talked about. And I don't have a guest on tonight. I'm going to start you out with me. Yes. Whole and beautiful. We're going to start out tonight. And I want to talk to you. I settled in on change. Because the show is about information, revelation, and change. And I bring you a lot of information, and I hopefully the information that I'm giving you is bringing about a revelation. And I am praying that it's going to bring about some change in you for the new year. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about change because I wanted to share just a slightly different perspective on it. I wanted you to hear how I feel about it, like in my heart, and what the way that I feel about it, and what I want to do Hi guys, I am back again. I hope you all can hear me. I hope that everything is going well with you all. I had to switch devices. For some reason, everything just went blank on me. It went totally out. So I'm not even going to try to mess with that computer right now. I'm just going to go on with the show. So it may look a little different, and I wanted to switch things around, but I'm going to settle with where I am right now. Oh, so that I could get this show out to you and to get everything done. I do apologize. I don't know what happened. Everything was just flowing good, and then all of a sudden, nothing. It just totally went out. So I am thankful that I have a backup over here. I have my phone, and I'm gonna just go ahead and talk to you from the phone tonight. How about that? If y'all can hear me, if y'all can put something in the chat, just say we hear you. Just say we're out here, we're listening. If you're in, and then you can share this with somebody else and let them know that Whole and Beautiful is on. If you can see me, hear me, whatever, let me know. I am just going to keep rolling on with what I plan to give you all tonight. I was talking about change, and that's what we want to talk about. And see, things changed. They changed in the beginning of the show, and you have to know how to go with the flow of what's happening. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about, is being like fluid with that change. Because a lot of times when we fight against the change and we're fighting against it, we cause more harm with fighting against it than the flow with the change. And sometimes we don't like change. We want things to remain the same. But if you want some differences in your life during the course of 2024, if you want some different things in your life, just because, not because just because it's 2024, but just because I want change, just because I want things to be different, you're going to have to do some things in order to accomplish some things. You're going to have to do some things in order to accomplish some things. It's not going to just happen just because you decided, hey, I want this change to happen. It's not going to happen just because you decided that's what I want to happen. It's not. It happens because you are making the change. And that's what we want to talk about on tonight. We want to talk about how to make that change. The first thing that happens with you, as like when you're getting ready to make a change, people have that pre-contemplation. What is that? When you sitting there and you thinking about the change that you might want to make, you might want to make that change, you might want to do that, and you haven't committed to it at all. You haven't committed to the change, you haven't committed to that you're going to do anything, but you have just, am I back? I'm back. Okay, we just gonna do this. Let's talk about it. The pre-contemplation, you pre thinking about what you want to do. And that's what some people do. They think about it all the time. They talk about it, they think about it, but they are not committed to it. So that's all that pre-work that you just let stuff roll through your brain. You go, I don't want to do that. And you don't do it. Um, then you move on to a place where you really start seriously thinking about it. You're contemplating, you're thinking about, you know what? This is something I acknowledge, that this is something that I want to happen. I acknowledge that this is something I want to change, or maybe I want to make better, or maybe this is a problem that needs to be fixed. So I am going to do what I need to do in order to make it better. You're going through that contemplation of what it is that needs to be done. You're acknowledging, man, some things have gone wrong, some things are not going right, and this is something that I need to change. Yep. And some of this, like with even with the computer stuff, I'm like, and that, guys, I don't think it's dealing with my computer per se. I think it is where I live. I really do. So maybe that needs to change this year. Maybe that is the thing that needs to change, because I don't have these issues. I don't have these issues with the computer, with all of this, unless I get on my show. And then when I get ready to get on my show, somebody might be saying, well, you need a better computer. I bought a brand new computer. And I was thinking, this is going to be what's going to help me, and we're not going to have no issues. It's not happening. But sometimes, a lot of times out where I live, I have a lot of issues with the internet and different things like that. So that's what I'm thinking is, so maybe something like that needs to change. Hmm. That is a change that might need to happen in the upcoming year. But we contemplate, we think about it, we acknowledge that there's an issue, and we're saying, okay, we gotta work through this. And what are you contemplating about changing this year? What is it in you that you're saying, I need to change that? That needs to be better. That can be a little bit better. I need to let go of some things. I need to push forward towards some other things. What are those things? And when you start going into that, what are these things or what is it that I need to do? Then you're starting to prepare because you're making preparation. You're sitting down and you're writing out. Write it down. A lot of times we just think, but we never put it down on a piece of paper. Put it down on a piece of paper. Let somebody know, let yourself know this is what I'm committed to doing. I'm preparing myself to make a change in this particular area, whether it's with relationships, whether it's with the relationship you have with yourself, whether it's a relationship that you have with your spouse, whether it's a relationship or friendship that you have with somebody else, and you're saying, hey, I got to do better in this, and we got to work these things out. I got to make a change in this if I want this to be better. What about family members? This year may be the year that you're saying, hey, I need to have a better relationship with my family. I need to have a better relationship with my siblings, with my cousins, or whoever it is, with my mom, with my dad. But you're going to have to make the decision and prepare for it. You can't just say, you know what? I want to have this great relationship with my mom. But then you never call. You never talk to her. You never set up times to maybe take her out to lunch or take her out to dinner. You never set up those times where you go to her house and sit with her to talk with her just to see what's going on in her life. You don't put forth the effort and you think that it's just going to happen. And it's not just going to happen. We have got to put some footwork to some of the things that we have wrote down as saying that these are my goals. This is things that I want to accomplish. These are things that I want to change in my life. But if you don't put the footwork, if you don't put the faith with it, faith without works is what? It's dead because it's alone. Even in the Bible, it tells us to add to your faith. Add to your faith. And it's constantly, it has the scripture where it tells you, and I can't remember it right now, but it says add to your faith. And it gives you different things that you add to your faith. Your faith can't just be out there by itself and you don't have any works with it because then it's alone. Faith without works is dead. You got to put some work behind what you say you want to do. You got to be specific about it. You got to just don't generalize everything because sometimes people say, oh, I just want to live a better life. What does it mean to you to live a better life? Some people say, you know what, I just want to get my finances good. I want my finances to be really good this year. Okay, that's a general statement. What is it that you need to work on? Is it your spending habits? Are you spending too much? Are you just wasting money? Are you wasting money where you could be saving money? Are you in a pinch or in a bind where you're in a lot of debt and you're saying, okay, I my goal is to get out of debt. Okay, if my goal is to get out of debt, then I need to write all these bills down. I need to know how much money is coming in. I need to know how much money is going out. I need to devise a plan, put a plan together that is going to get me out of this financial like hard area that I'm in. I want out of it. So in order to do that, what am I going to do? I'm going to have to press and I'm going to have to look up stuff. Maybe look up how to budget my money. Maybe try to find a budget plan that's going to work well for me. Every budget plan may not work for everybody, but you need to find something that is going to work for you so that you can get to the place where you want to be. If it's losing weight, a lot of people make that say that is their resolution. I don't even do no resolutions. It's like I gotta set some goals for my life. I don't wait till the year switches over. I'm making goals all year long. It's like, and I got to accomplish them. So it's if you're saying that losing weight is something that you want to do, it's something that you need to do, because some of us are in a place where we need to lose the weight. Some of us are in a place where we want to lose the weight. Whatever the case may be, you got to devise a plan to do it. You can't say, I want to lose 100 pounds and you want it done within the next 2 months. Don't do that to yourself. Devise a plan to get you where you want to go. Look, do some research. in doing research, I most most trainers, most people will tell you, most people who working with nutrition and different things, 2 pounds for 2 pounds a week is like the go-to. 2 pounds a week. And anything over that, sometimes it's good and you're gonna lose that weight fast and it'll come off like that, but not all the time. So don't go walk around thinking, oh, I'm gonna lose 20 pounds a week and I'm gonna be done with this. No, it didn't take you a week to put it on. It's not gonna take you a week to get it off. It took you a while to build those pounds up. It's gonna take you a little while to get them off. So it's not an overnight thing. It's not going to be an overnight thing. It didn't happen overnight. It is not. It didn't come on overnight. Although sometimes it feel like it did, it was not an overnight process. So it's going to take you a little bit more to get it off. So then you have to say, okay, if I want to lose, let's say I bring my goal down and say I want to lose 50 pounds. Okay, what's feasible, how soon can I do this, look up, do your research and know, okay, oh, I can probably do it within this amount of time frame. Okay, then you need to say, okay, am I eating correctly? What am I going to change about my eating? Because if I don't change my eating, the weight's not going to come off. Your weight going down is 80% of what you eat, 20% of your exercise. So you need to make sure that you're eating correctly so that you can add that 80 to that 20% of exercise that you do and see some results. Because if you don't change how you're eating, you're not going to see any results. You got to change it up. Whether it's portion control, whether it's taking all them sweets out that you eat and maybe only eating a small amount of sweets, whatever it is for you, because it is different for every person. Some people can stop drinking the soda, and when they stop drinking sodas, they just weight just coming off, coming off, coming off. And then other people can just quit eating their soda, quit drinking soda, and still ain't dropped a pound. And they was like, "Well, I don't drink the sodas no more." It all depends on your body, depends on different than your makeup and stuff. So you need to study you so that you can get the best results that you want to get. You got to prepare to reach your goal, prepare for your victory. If you don't prepare for it, it's just not going to just happen all because I made a decision. Oh, that's what I want to do this year is I want to lose the weight, or that's what I want to do this year. I want to build a better relationship with my friends or my mom or my dad or whoever, and then you just sit and wait for it to happen. No, ma'am, no, sir. You got to put some work behind what you're trying to do. And that is going to cause you to do what? To begin to change. That's when you got to take action. Because after you done wrote that stuff down, you know what you got to do. If it's portion control, okay, as bad as I don't want to do it, it's like, okay, I got to measure this food out because I eat a little bit too much, or I need to cut these sweets back because I eat too many sweets, so I need to cut that out. If it's picking up the phone and saying, hey, I need to call my mom and I need to talk to her, or I need to call my dad or my sister or my brother, and I need to do it on a regular basis and call them. I need to start building a friendship or relationship. I need to forgive some things and let some things go in order to get where I want to go. Even at church, a couple, what was it last? At church, at my church that I attend, Pastor Aaron and Pastor Dion Bell are my pastors, and it's Next Level Church. And if you're here in Columbia, South Carolina, y'all need to come on out and join us. We have an awesome time, and you get the word. But what I wanted to share with you was that the message was to leave things behind, to leave it behind, to just let those things go. Leave it. Let it go. Leave it. Why? Because we try to take those things that are back there somewhere in our past and we try to bring them up here. And then we're wondering why we're going around and around and around in this circle because we have not left it behind. We have not walked away from it. We are still living back in 2020. Some of us. Some of us are living back in 1990. We have not even arrived in 2024. Physically, it's like you're there because the years have changed, but in your mind, you're still back there somewhere. And you need to leave that back there where it is. Let it go. Why? So that you can move forward. So a lot of people talk, oh, back in the day, I lost this amount of weight. Well, honey, you done gained it back. And I say that to myself. You done gained it back and then some, little girl. And you need to get it off in order for you to be healthy. So I gotta do what I gotta do. And have I started? Yep, I started. I know exactly what to do. And that's what bothers me a lot of times is because I was like, you have to have the discipline to do what you're supposed to do. I know exactly what to do in order to lose the weight. I know what to do. I have been with a personal trainer. I have been studying the thing out where I was even looking into some things my own self about maybe becoming an instructor and stuff. So I looked at stuff and I've studied stuff and I have sat there and paid attention and I know what to do. It's just a matter of doing it. Just like I was just talking about the action, you got to put the action behind it. You got to add to that faith. You can't just let your faith be out there alone. You got to add to that faith and you got to push forward and you got to move forward and do what you need to do in order to accomplish your goals this year. Once you take that action, then it's time to maintain. Because if you are not careful, you will drift back into your old habits. And you don't want to drift back into your old habits. You want to keep things going. If it's like, you know what, I want a new style, I want to change the way that I dress or whatever, then make the preparation to do it. You're saying, you might say, well, I don't have the money to be going out buying no new clothes. You may not even have to go get any new clothes. Exactly right. Yep. And drinking more water. Yes, drinking that water. That water is important. Thank you, Victoria, for being out there and for chiming in. It's you have to go to a place of maintaining once you get everything. And I was talking about, your different clothes and stuff. You may even go to your closet, and if you don't have the money to go shop, you may be able to shop in your own closet. You find somebody who styles clothes really well, have them come to your closet, have them look at what you got, and they'll pull out like 5, 6, 7 different outfits, different things that they can put together and make it look totally different because they have an eye for that. You may have a friend that has an eye for that, and they can hook you up out of your own closet, and you ain't got to go buy nothing. It's just a matter of preparing. It's a matter of taking action. Don't just sit around and do nothing. You got to get up and do something. Do something. Don't sit around waiting on it to happen for you. Make it happen. Be the one that steps out and makes it happen. And you got to press forward and don't put these goals like way up here where they're unattainable. No, set your goal for the day, set your goal for the week, set your goal for the month, whatever it is. If it's to make that one phone call, then do it. If it's to go and see that relative that you haven't seen in a long time, take the time and go do it. I had the opportunity to go and spend time with my aunts and my uncles on my dad's side, which I haven't done in a long time, and I hadn't seen them. So it was a great opportunity to go and just to see another side of the family that I hadn't seen in a while. It was awesome to sit and to talk to them and to laugh with them and to laugh about the different things, just kind of watch and see how people move about. And then a lot of them, they sitting there talking, and then it just reminded me of my dad, which my dad passed, like about 14 years ago. It doesn't even seem that long. 14, is it 14 or 16? I was like, I know some people keep over the date. I don't do that. But it's been a while. It's been about 14 to 16 years ago that my father passed, and I hadn't like hung out and been around his brothers and his sisters, and it was nice to be around them because then you see, I could just see like glimpses of my dad and different people, and some of his brothers and some of his sisters. So that was nice. But I made the effort. My aunt, his sister, she makes the effort. We exchange numbers, and she had been sending me texts, and I had been sending her texts. And sometimes she'll call me. Sometimes I will call her, and she let me know when things were going on. So I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna come. I said I will be there, and I am so glad that I did. I got the opportunity to go and spend time with them, which is amazing and it is awesome, but we got to take action with it. We got to make some action with it. You can't just say it's just going to happen. They're going to call me and they're going to forgive and they're going to do this, or they're going to call me and when they call me then I'll forgive them. No, 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 no. That's not the way. If you want the relationship, do something about it. If you've done everything that you possibly can do and people are still shutting doors and they're still shutting down and not wanting to talk to you, then the ball is in their court then. But don't let it be because you didn't make an effort. Don't walk around with regret. Oh, I wish I had a said this, or I wish I had a spoken this, or I wish I had a spent more time. No. Go ahead, make the time. We make time for what we want to do. We really do. We will make the time. If we really, really want to do it, we'll make the time. So make the time to spend some time with family if that is one of your goals for this year. And when you get in there, you got to maintain it because it's so easy to go back to the old you. Even with the exercise, it is so easy to go back to the old you. If you're used to not exercising, if you're used to not doing it, and you get in the habit of doing it, and then something happened where you can't, maybe you injure yourself, maybe you're used to going outside and then now you're inside and you can't go outside to go walk. Maybe you injured yourself or something and now you can't do what you were doing. Do what you can do, but push yourself to go ahead and to continue on with the movement, to be able to move. Push yourself to sit down and to eat right. Just because you injured your leg, your foot, whatever, your arm, and you can't do what you were doing before, doesn't mean that you just sit down on the couch with a gallon of ice cream and eat it all. You're defeating the purpose. It's just you gotta stay in there. You gotta stick with it. Will you injure yourself sometime? Yes, you may injure yourself sometime. I have injured myself sometime. But you stick with the plan. You stick with the plan. Do what you can do. Do what you can do, even in your injured state. Make sure that you're eating right. Make sure you're drinking, like Victoria was saying, drinking that water and doing what you're supposed to do to maintain. Don't let your mind go back to the old you and fall back into that oldness. No, we want the new. We want the new. We want the change. We embrace the change. So that's what we want to do this year. I want you to embrace the change. Not only say, oh, I'm going to change. I'm going to change. I want you to embrace it. I want you to set yourself up for victory this year, is what I want you to do. I want you to be intentional about what you're going to do. And don't just generalize it. Like I was saying before, don't just generalize it. Don't just say, oh, I want to lose weight this year. Oh, I want to read my Bible more this year. Those are all good things. But how are you going to go about reading that Bible this year? Set the time up. It doesn't have to be, oh, I'll get it. I'm get inspired and then I'm gonna go read my word. No. Set the time up and say, okay, at this time each morning I'm gonna read, or at this time, in the evening when I get off from work, I'm gonna take this amount of time and I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna read my Bible. Even if I just read one scripture, I'm just gonna read that one scripture. Even if I'm gonna read like a couple of verses, it's gonna be a couple of verses. If I say I'm going to read a chapter, then I'm going to read a chapter. What books am I going to start in? Am I going to start in the New Testament? I'm going to go to the Old. Am I going to read one from the Old and one from the New? How am I going to do this? You want to know how. So you can set it all up. Why? for victory because you just don't want to be random. You want to be able to say, you know what? This is my time. I want to set aside some time for worship. So my time for worship may be in the evening. And I may do it for 30 minutes. I may do it for 10. I may take a good 5 minutes. Whatever the case may be. My time with the Father may be the time that I ride my from my job home or from my home to my job. That time alone in the car may be my time to worship, my time to pray, my time to talk to the Father. So do it and be consistent with it. Be consistent. Be intentional about your time. Be intentional about what you want to do. Set the goals and achieve them. Don't generalize the goals. You can make that generalization when you first write it down, but then go back and look at them again and say, okay, how am I going to accomplish this? Some of you might be saying, you know what, this year is the year I'm going to write my book. If you're going to write the book. But sit down and say, okay, how am I going to do this? How am I going to get the pointers? I need some pointers on how to do it. And you can watch Authors Up on Sundays at 7 p.m. They'll give you some pointers on how you can write that book. But sit down and write. Just sit down and begin. If you never sit down and begin to write, how is the book gonna come about if you're not writing anything? You gotta write something. If you're saying that you're gonna write the book, do you know where the book is going? Do you know what you want to write about? Do you know what kind of book it's gonna be? Do you know if it's gonna be a mystery or not, some type of novel? Do you know whether it's gonna be a self-help or inspirational book? Um, whether it's gonna be a devotional, whether it's gonna be instructional, whether it's gonna be fiction or nonfiction, biography, autobiography. What is it going to be? You can begin to do that, but you got to be specific about what you're doing. Be intentional with it. Be intentional. Be detailed. That was something that I wanted to let. When you're writing down your things and you want to change something, be detailed about what you want. I was a person that I would look at everything, just overview of everything. And I was never like very detailed, but I started asking God to help me to be detailed in my prayers and detailed about what it is that I want because sometimes we generalize stuff and sometimes we generalize it because we don't think we can have it. So we just generally say it and we don't get specific about it because we're thinking, it might not work. And if I get specific about it and I say this is exactly what I want, then it may not come to pass. And then it's gonna hurt my feelings or it's gonna be discouraging. So we don't get specific about it. We don't talk about it like we should. But I'm telling you, be detailed about what you want. Be detailed about how you want your life to change. Be detailed about it. And change is a progressive thing. It's not going to happen overnight. It just happens progressively. And before you know it, things have changed. It's just like that child that is growing and you haven't seen them in a long time. Like you see them in passing, maybe here or there, and then one day you see them and you're like, oh my goodness, you look like you grew overnight. They didn't grow overnight. It was a progressing time and they started to grow. And because you're not seeing them on a every single day, you didn't even realize that they were growing as much as they were until you see them again. Sometimes if you're with them all the time, you don't even see it then. You're like, oh, you're still looking at that little person. And then when you have time away and you get back with them, you're like, oh my goodness, they're taller. Oh, their facial expressions have changed. They're looking more like, a grown up, or they're made looking more like a teenager, or they're looking more like this, that, or the other, because you didn't even notice the change because the change is continually happening. It's just that you didn't see it until then. And that's what I want for you all. I want your change to be a progression where you look up one day and you're like, man, I'm already in it. And I've been doing this now for years. I didn't even realize how much I changed. Or you get around somebody who knew you back when, and they're like, oh my goodness, a lot has changed about you. You're changing for the better. Why? Because it's not something, it's not like taxing that you put it on yourself where it's just so taxing and you're having headaches and body aches and all this other stuff because you're trying to make a change. No, it should just progressively happen. Just allow it to happen when it does. Allow it to happen. It's those little things that will bring about big changes. It's that small thing that you do. It's that walking with the video online, doing the walking in the house, where you're just walking with the video. And then the next thing you know, when you go outside for a walk, you are moving quicker and faster than you were when you started that little bit of exercise that you started. Maybe it's doing the chair exercises because you can't do the other stuff that a lot of people are doing. But then you notice a change. You climbed the stairs today and you weren't breathing as hard. Or you did some other activities and you're like, oh, I still feel good. All because you made those small changes. Because like I said, it's not going to be an overnight thing. It's a progressive thing. So as we start out 2024 and we are making all these different changes, all these things we say we want to change in our lives, we need to be a participant in the change. You need to participate in your own change. Don't think somebody else is going to come in and do it for you. Don't think that somebody else is going to jump in there and they're going to do it. Oh, they're going to come in and when they get here, when they do this, I'm going to change. Mm-mm. It starts in you. And when you make the decision that this is what I'm going to do, sit down and start making yourself a plan. Like we said in the beginning, if it's budgeting and getting your finances together, see what you need to do. If you don't know what to do, seek out the information so that you know what to do and how to start saving. If it's losing weight, seek out the information that you need. It's all out there. You just need to go and find it. If you don't already know it, some of us already know it, and we just need to dust it off and look at it again and say, okay, this is what I need to do. If it's getting that relationship right, or if it's making new friends, we first got to show ourselves friendly so that you can make a new friend. Be kind to somebody else, but you first got to be kind to you. And once you're kind to you, then you can reach out to somebody else and you can talk to somebody else. But guys, I want you to accomplish things this year. And how are you going to do that? You got to devise a plan and you got to stick to it. You got to be disciplined. It's not enough just to know it. It's not enough just to get the information. It ain't even enough just to get the revelation. You got to walk it out in order to make the change. You can have all the information in the world and you can have all the revelation. You can like, oh yeah, that was good. Did you hear about this? And this is what I got from it. Oh, that was good. But if you don't start making the change yourself and start walking it out, it is not going to happen. God is not going to come down and just zap us with a magical wand or something, and then we just gonna change. It don't happen that way. The Holy Spirit is with us to help us. Jesus is with us to help us. The Father is with us to help us. He is a very present help in the time of trouble. Our help is in the name of the Lord. We can call upon him and he will help us. The Holy Spirit has been sent as a comforter to us and to help. We need the help, but we need to step out and take action in our own lives. Don't let what somebody else says and what somebody else does and how they treat you and all this, let that just distort your mindset about your own self. See who you really are. Get in there, read that Bible this year. Find out who you are. Go to Ephesians, read, find out who you are in Christ. Rehearse it in your heart, rehearse it in your mind, rehearse the change and make the change this year. I'm looking for some awesome testimonies from y'all. I'm looking for some awesome things that you're going to share with me. When you send me that email at wholebeautiful@gmail.com, I'm looking to see what God is doing in your life this year and how things are already beginning to change, all because you decide to add to your faith. You're going to take action this year and go forward. Guys, that is what I have for you on tonight. I am so glad that y'all stayed with me throughout this. I don't see any comments or whatever. I know you're out there. I know you're listening, but I am so glad that you joined me on tonight. And someone else, you can let them know they can listen on tomorrow at 4 p.m. This show will play again. Tell them when it goes black, just stay tuned. Just stay in there because she's coming back. Because she had to do what? She had to make a change tonight to get back on here to talk to y'all. But I am so glad for everyone that stuck with me on tonight. Y'all have the most amazing weekend. And if this is your weekend to start your change, then do that. Do that. Sit down, write it out, make it plain, and run with that vision for yourself for the year 2024. I am looking for great things, powerful things, and I want you to come on this journey with me, this whole and beautiful journey. Until we meet again next week at 7 p.m., I am Angela D. Oliphant, allowing you to see, to hear, and to know that whole and beautiful is not just your destination, it is most definitely your journey. Thank you guys for hanging in there with me tonight. I will talk to you all again soon. Love you much. Good night.